We're making a fun recipe today. This is for a sourdough chocolate babka. The link for the recipe is going to be in the description box below. I'm also doing this in grams and cups because I've started trying to do that more lately, because inevitably if I put it in all grams, somebody wants cups, and if I put it in all cups, somebody says, what's the gram measurements? Because there's people from areas of the world who don't use cup measurements, and so I'm trying to make sure I put both of those. So all right, I've talked enough. Let's jump into a sourdough chocolate babka. Okay, so I have all of my ingredients measured out because I was doing cups and grams. I usually have to do that lately. So what I'm going to do, this is the milk. It's half a cup or 130 grams of milk. I'm using whole milk. This is 4 tablespoons of honey and 50 grams or a quarter cup of olive oil. I've got 2 eggs here that I just went ahead and kind of lightly scrambled or mixed. Makes it easier in the mixer. I've got my starter here, which is about 1/3 of a cup or 100 grams. In this bowl, I have my flour. It's 2 3/4 cups of flour and 1½ teaspoons of salt in here, or 5 grams of salt and 350 grams of flour. I used hard white wheat. I want a light, fluffy loaf of babka here, so I'm using hard white. Now I'm just going to turn this on and I'm just going to mix it until it is a dough. And then I'm going to turn it off, cover it, and let it sit for 30 minutes before I come back and knead it, because that'll make it easier. It's going to soften the bran, the germ, and just make for a quicker and easier kneading process. Alright, so this dough has been kneading for about 5-6 minutes. You can see it's a really sticky dough, but that's what you want. You want it to be really, really hydrated so that this is a super soft, delicious. I can't wait. It smells amazing already. So I'm going to let this sit while I make the filling, because we're going to roll this out in just a few minutes and put the filling on it so it can rise. Y'all, I'm sorry. I thought I was filming and I wasn't. So let me tell you what happened. I'm making the filling for the babka. There's a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder and 1/2 cup of sugar in here. And I was getting the grams for that, and I looked up and it wasn't recording. So here's what I've got. I'm going to mix the cocoa powder in with the sugar. It smells so good. I love chocolate. I know, I think everybody loves chocolate, but maybe there's some people. Do you like chocolate? It'd be easier to ask who doesn't like chocolate. Of course, if you don't like chocolate, you're probably not watching this video. So, okay. So I'm going to add to that a 1/4 cup of olive oil. That's about 50 grams, so I don't need to. I already know what that is. Go. I never really think too much about measuring in grams, but I get so many comments, questions, messages. Can you please do this in grams? And so I've started trying to do cups and grams. So what you're looking for, you could also use a 1/4 cup of melted butter, or even coconut oil would work too. But see, it's spreadable. It's going to be a spreadable. Whoop. Sorry about that. I got chocolate everywhere. Now to this, chocolate chips. Okay, I had to get my cup measure. So I'm going to do a cup of chocolate chips. This is a 1/2 cup measuring. I need to get the grams on this one before I put it in there. There's 1/2 cup. It's a lot of chocolate chips, but it'll be worth it. That's about 172 grams. I'm just going to mix all that up together into an ooey, gooey, chocolatey deliciousness. It's so good. Somebody was telling me that they laugh every time I say that, but I can't help it. I love good food. Look at that. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to get my mat put down so that I can roll out my bread dough to put the filling on. So here's my dough. I've got my bread pan greased really well. I use a large loaf pan. I think it's an 8.5 by 4.5. I get that question a lot. Some flour. I'm gonna dust this pretty good, and I'll add more as I go because this is a pretty sticky dough. Just gonna get it out of the... Don't be intimidated by sticky dough. Sticky doughs make soft loaves of bread. It's just learning kind of how to work with it. And a spatula comes in really handy. So here's my dough. It's really helpful to have one of these bench scrapers when you are working with really high hydration dough. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on it, and I'm going to work it a little bit to get it. It's actually not too sticky to work with, so that's why I say don't be intimidated. It seems like it's so sticky when you're taking it out of the mixer bowl, but it's not really. It's actually it's sticky, but it's not unmanageably sticky. So we're going to roll this out into a rectangle. It's going to be approximately 10 by 14, but you don't have to get it perfect, because just remember the end thing is that we're going to make this a loaf that's going to go. You do want it longer than the pan because we're going to cut it and braid it. So you do need it to be just a little bit longer than what your loaf pan is, but don't stress over it. Just kind of get it pretty close. Let me put a bit of flour on this. We're going to start rolling this beautifully enriched dough. It is so soft, well kneaded dough. And I'm just going to keep adding I'm not adding a ton of flour, but I want enough that it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. So you want it longer than wider, obviously. So I'm just going to start, and you want it thin enough so that you get a nice braid. Take your hands and kind of manipulate it into a rectangle instead. It's not too hard to work with, so don't be shy with it. Just if it starts getting sticky, just add a little bit of flour to your hands, but you want it to be in kind of a rectangle shape. I think that looks pretty good. Kind of like making cinnamon rolls. I could fiddle with this all day, but the dough feels really nice. Just make sure it's not covered in flour because you want the filling to actually stick to the dough. So here we go. We're going to put our filling on here. I'm going to get a picture real quick of this. I'm taking pictures too. So here goes the filling. Don't take it like all the way to the edge. Just get it close. Kind of even it out. This smells amazing. Good enough for me. Now we're going to roll the dough up. Start from the short end and go lengthwise. And just kind of gently roll it up. Don't get it too loose. So kind of, what I like to do is take my fingers on the part that I just started rolling and pull it towards me a little, and that tightens it up. So just keep doing that as you go. See how I pulled it? Pull it towards you and keep rolling. Pull. You can kind of tuck a little if you need to. Pull. And I can already feel the feeling coming through, so I know I'm doing pretty good with that. If you get to the end and you realize you needed to spread the batter or the filling out, then just go ahead and do that. Manipulate these edges. Again, the dough is super easy to work with, even though it seemed like it wouldn't be. Okay, now I'm going to roll this over and kind of pinch these seams together, kind of tuck in the ends. This is where it's going to get fun. Listen to my new rooster. He's been crowing like crazy. When they learn they can crow, it's over. Okay, kind of make it even. So there's that beautiful loaf, but we're gonna do something even more exciting with this. Okay, I hope I got that. I used a knife and I left this little bit right here, and then I cut down in 2 places to make 3 separate pieces. I had to get a picture. When I came back, it wasn't recording anymore. I've got to go a little bit more on this one. You want them to be completely separate from each other. See that? I pulled them apart. Kind of pinch it together because it's going to try to come apart because it's got all this filling, but just kind of go with it. Don't stress too much about it. It's going to be beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my hands, just a little. And then we're going to just braid these together. So we're going to take one and put it over the other. It's going to be a little bit messy because of this filling, but it's going to be so worth it. And now we're going to take another one. And we're going to put it over that one. See that? And we're just going to keep doing that until we get it completely braided up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with all this extra filling. You want to kind of pull on it a little so that you get a nice braid, but not too much. Just take these loose chocolate chips and tuck them in and kind of take this bottom piece and seal it to the bottom. That's going to give you a good seal. Now I'm going to manipulate this a little to make it look even, and you can do that. You can pinch that to make it a little smaller, but you see what the basic premise. I'm going to get you an overhead shot of this in just a second. So now we got to get this in the loaf pan. Got it greased and ready to go. This is where a large bench scraper comes in really handy. So I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm just going to use it. And you kind of want to work quickly doing this, because if you get too slow with it, it's just going to stick to your hands, all this filling. So I'm just going to get kind of aggressive, but you get the point. And I only lost a few. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to get you an overhead shot of that, because I forgot to get you an overhead shot of on the table. Now we're just going to cover this. We're just going to cover it with some plastic wrap and wait for it to get puffy in the pan, and then we'll bake it off. It's probably going to take around 5 to 6 hours. It's kind of cool in here this morning, which is awesome, but it is going to take just a little bit for it to rise. So just put it somewhere, and later on this afternoon we will have a beautiful loaf of sourdough babka. All right, it's just a little bit loud in here. I'm making dinner, so the food's frying. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you make this recipe and what you thought about it. I mean, decadent, beautiful, eye-catching, and all the good things. So, and let me know if you enjoyed this style of a video. Even though I ask, I want to make sure that you all are getting the type of videos that you want to see here on the channel. So if you enjoyed it, let me know, and be sure to go to the blog. The recipes in the description box for all the ingredients, step-by-step instructions, pictures, and everything. So all right, well, thank you so much. I hope that you will join me again here next week, same day, same time.